also one that could tame this beast. And basically, the spirit of Jake, the horse was wild, and the horse is powerful. So the spirit of Jake was actually able to tame the horse. And that ties back into Isaiah 11, where the animals, the wild beasts, will obey us and respect us, which ultimately represent the kingdom of heaven. So, I'm going to just pass it on to the next point.
I do want to reference that same scene with the horse, because right before Issachar came in to tame the horse, Esau got kicked in his damn chest by the horse, because he came to the horse with a cavalier-ass attitude, thinking he was, I'm the shit. The horse is going to bow down to me because I'm the so-called fucking white man. Excuse my language. But then Issachar came humbly. Issachar came like this, basically. You know what I'm saying? And calmed the horse down, because he was talking to it calm and humble. That goes to show you the spirit, not only of Esau and Israel being the humble people, but also how you really get things done in the spirit is by coming humbly, as opposed to having a big shot cavalier attitude. You know what I'm saying? That'll get you kicked in the chest by a damn horse.
A soft answer to
Fine. Anybody else?
I just wanted to mention the part where in the movie, it had the southern tribe. You had the Jake in there. You got him working with the northern tribe chick, and in the end, they brought in Gad. So it goes to show you that the ones who was being oppressed. You even had Gad at one time saying, we've been fighting this fight for 500 years, and that fight is basically the fight that was between Jacob and Esau, and especially Israel over here in Babylon the Great. So in each moment, various parts of the scene, you would see Jake, whether it be the northern tribe or the southern tribe, coming together to fight against Esau. They had the one part where they was in the truck, and they had to do the Nazi guy. You had Jake, help out the northern tribe chick, and toward the end, you had Gad, which Gad came out with the bow and arrow. And the scripture says that Gad, a troop shall overcome them, but in the end, they shall overcome. So Esau, he shows you that he knows, the scriptures, and the Lord, the Spirit of the Lord, ultimately is having this, vibration of the Israelites coming together, the house of David being brought together, Amos 9:11, and going against this devil. So, that was something, only a spiritual person and somebody that would know, the history of the scriptures could understand why they had, all those, the tribes of Israel collectively come together and fight, against this devil.
If I may say, if you see, every nation was going against Esau. It was like the ultimate purge against Esau, because Esau was like purging against everybody, and the borderline was America. You got to take it to Mexico. So ultimately, America is connected to Mexico, but they was like, yo, America is going to be destroyed, man. And at the end, they showed all of America being destroyed through people who was the purges against all the people who was fighting against the purge. But when they looked at it, it was looking like ultimate devastation of America.
Yeah, hey, it's the spirit, because you hear the stuff going off in the background too. It sounds like the guns that was going off in the movie.
Because tomorrow, the so-called 4th of July. Also, I want to bring out something we brought out years ago. And who's the government of America at this time? The NFFA. The F is the 6th letter of the alphabet. The N is the 14th, and the A is the first. Right. So you put the first, the one with the 1-4, you get 6, and the FF 666. That's one thing I want to talk about. Also, the scriptures tell you that the Most High created the waster to destroy. What is Esau? Esau's the waster. And what did he do with this whole purge? He created something that wound up being so powerful that he couldn't contain it. And people was like, nah, we're going to purge all the damn time. Right? That's the spirit of Esau. America's a damn purge. And if you really look at the governments in Central America, and the movie goes into it, how their governments are corrupt. Mexico is a whole big-ass hood. Salvador is a big-ass hood. Like, Central America is basically a big hood. All the the governments don't control a damn thing over there. The cartels control everything. And the movie goes into that. And then America done got so bad that now you got to run to the places where the cartels run the country to get some type of civilization.
Yeah, that's how bad it's going to get here in Babylon. The scripture says what? That it's going to be a time like never before.
So into their own country.
Yeah, that's their own country. I just want to say one last thing. You had that one scene where the guy, they was in the back of the paddy wagon, and the guy was hearing the guns go off, and he was able to tell which sword was going off, and he was like, "That's America's anthem," and that goes to show you that Esau that he was blessed with the sword. So that's the anthem of Babylon. The anthem of America is what? Is the sword and shooting and killing, and murdering.
I was just gonna say that, brother, to flee into their own country. If you think about it, in that movie, you ain't seen none of the other nations except for Esau and Israel. That's all you saw in there. There was no Moab, there was no Ishmael, there was no none of them. So they're going to show who the war is really amongst. It's amongst Israel and Esau, because that's the main. What's the word? Antagonist and protagonist. That's the protagonist and antagonist of the Most High's movie. Those are main characters. You got the villain with Esau, and you got everybody else, which was Jake. You had the key Edomites you had to put in there to say yeah, you got some Edomites that's down, but that's not gonna happen in the war to come here. Every Edomite is gonna be like that woman that was pregnant, and the dude, he gonna do what he doing early in the movie. It ain't gonna be that switch up and like, yeah, I was wrong for thinking the way I felt, and now we're together. It ain't gonna be none of that. But ultimately, my point was only that it was only Esau and Jacob in the movie. That's what the war is really amongst, because that's the prophecy of the two nations at war with each other in the womb. That's what it's about.
Yeah, you had Esau, in the beginning, he the Escarite dude, he said, "Yo, what's the problem between me and y'all? Like, what's up?" He's like, "Yeah, I just think our people should stick with our people and your people should stick with your people, whatever. I ain't got no issues with the child, whatever." And then that's when his child was born in Mexico. So it's like now, he had, now those people took his child in, and now his child is a citizen. Now he talked all that shit about the Escarites, whatever. And now he's humble towards them.
Yeah. But what he said was heavy though, because our people got more fucked up under segregation,
right?
Integration,
right?
Because what he said was heavy.
You mean the other way around?
Yeah.
You got more fucked up by segregation than integration?
Right.
Fucked up by integration.
Right. By integration.
When we was integrated together, it was less, it was more brotherly. We was more poor, but, it was more brotherly love. It was less, Israelite on Israelite crime amongst us. But when we became segregated, that's when our people really, really went downhill. So what he said was, even though, his baby is born in Mexico, he had a different outlook. But what he actually said had a lot of validity to it, because we was more better under integration than segregation. And when you know those scriptures, that's all the will of the Most High. He set up all the nations and put them in their own land, after their own families, after their own tongue, and after their own languages, So that was what he said was actually really biblical. And held a lot of truth to it.
And if you notice the political undertones of the movie, MAGA and all that, like the former Trump supporters and all of that, those was the ones that talk about cleaning up America and all that. Those are the so-called Republicans. At the end of the movie, I'm not going to give it away, but the people that rise up to fight, those are the Democrats, because the Democrats pretty much accept anybody. The homos, the so-called blacks, for their agenda. The Republicans, they're the ones that want to make America great again. So they want to purge out all the immigrants, and really only the immigrants of color. You know what I mean? But the last thing I want to bring out is that so-called white guy that got kicked in the chest by the horse wound up having to humble himself at the end of the movie. And just like the brother brought out a brilliant point, he had his baby in Mexico. After talking all that shit about we should be segregated, your baby now is a Mexican citizen.
Mexicans are living with his baby.
Yeah.
That's right. And they called it the Forever Purge, because it started off remember, he said this was all planned, by the elites. So it was all one big scheme. It was called the Forever Purge, going to Amos 1:11, that Esau kept his hatred, a perpetual hatred towards Jacob, and it was supposed to be one day, and also going to Psalms 55:20, like he had broken his covenant, because even though it said it broke out of control, you gotta remember it was a part in the movie when he was like, all of this is set up. Right. Because from who? Not really the Republicans and Democrats, the puppet politicians, but the higher up elites. Because what's part of the main part of the Georgia Guidestone, number one, to depopulate the earth. So an annual purge is depopulating the earth, but a continual purge have reached that goal of 500 million to from 7.5 billion or 7 billion people on the planet today if you could get a continual purge. So this devil done broke his covenant, like Psalm 51, 55, and 20 and 21 says, and Amos 1 and 11 say he had kept his hatred forever, a perpetual hatred towards Jacob. So that's all the prophecies. With that,
Hey,
that's all I got to say.
And when you look at what actually happened in America last year, gun sales was at all-time high last year. So they're even building up to this position to where something that happened like in that movie can actually happen in real life, because a lot of people are on edge with the whole, the jabs and the non-jabs, the whole political system with the election. You have a lot of people being divided. So a lot of people really, to this day, a lot of people still think that Trump is the president of the United States, and they don't really even accept Biden, and that friction between this type of people and this type of people is growing more and more and more. And ultimately you're seeing Jake be in the political world being pandered to, whether they just have the Juneteenth a holiday, they're trying to make Jake more accepted in politics, for the facial, on the face, but it's making a lot of Edomites actually grow more disdain against Jake, because they're thinking that our country is going to shit, and we're just giving all these Jakes all these benefits and things like that.
And with the New Zealand shooting, the vacuum, with the New Zealand shooting, if you ever, brothers could type in their manifesto, what is like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And his manifesto, he was saying that like, these foreigners is coming in and basically taking over shit, and we trying to keep American like pure and white, because you got certain Edomite towns that's not like, you got certain areas in America that's straight Edomites. Even when I go fishing at through the pole at sometimes, it was straight Edomites there for years. Even get out of there around like right now, I'll be gone, because it's like straight Edomites. It's like you can feel the racism up there. But lately, when they go up there to go, at fish or whatever, and you see like Issacharites, not too many in the Southern Kingdom, but it's a lot of Issacharites, Elam, and other dark faces that's invading these so-called like pure white communities. So Esau is not really able to like wake up and look at his neighbor and see like, an Edomite. It might be a Jake. It's like a whole mixture. So you got reverse from the birth rates dying, from marriage dying, from people not reproducing like that. And I mean, that's happening overall on a human race, period. But Israel on down to the heathens. But Esau being the minority compared to dark faces, his race is even fading out, because a lot of their women is swinging on the poles of the other nations, and a lot of Edomites men is coming homos and not even reproducing. So the ones that's conscious of that is like, nah, we gotta hold on to our kingdom, because this is their shit. America is their last hope. This is their kingdom, and they trying to fight tooth and nail to keep this shit alive. But you gonna try to heal Babylon, but she is not healed. Take ointment for her wound, take balm for her pain, but she is not healed. She gonna go down the drain. Right. And with that,
it's a lot. There is one thing that I did want to bring out. If you remember, I know you peeped it earlier in the movie, where they was having a conversation and the woman was talking about how beautiful and great America is, and her husband was like, "You really believe that?" And she's like, "Yeah." So he was on some "I love you anyway" type shit. And then if you look throughout the rest of the movie, she pretty much takes over, and she's the one with the backbone and shit.
What she said though?
Of course, it's Hollywood.
feminism.
Like Mason, what did she say when he asked her that? She said, "That's what I choose to believe."
Yeah.
So like,
That's
she really,
profound.
that's just saying like, I don't really believe it 100%, but I choose to believe that.
It's the Matrix.
It's the imagination. It's the like the facade.
Yup.
That's why they came. That's why Issachar comes here. That's why they did that. It's like Issachar came here for that facade of the American dream. But the whole movie, they saying that you have the Edomites saying that the American dream is over. When the dude said when they got accosted by the actual antagonist, that they basically let it be known that's what all Edomites Trump support. That's what they think. That's what them Edomites, the dude that he calls Mama or whatever he's calling her. That's really what the Edomites think, because they were the main ones that brought on the program that the whole movie was about.
It's not just Trump supporters.
No,
Trump
I just said that.
No.
Yeah.
But I want to clarify something. Trump supporters are just the ones saying it to your face.
Right.
The other ones, the Democrats, they feel that. Look at Biden. He's got more racist history than Trump do.
Right.
And he's the president. He's a Democrat. You know what I mean? Democrats hate Black and Latino people too. They just use you for their agenda.
Right.
You know, that's why you got the AOCs and that Arab lady, Shah, whatever her last name is. That's why because they play into the agenda. They're more of all encompassing, where Republicans are more about the old America. That's what I want to say on that. Jabari, that's something to say.
Hey, if I may say, you know, the last couple of movies that the brothers all go to see, they got a female theme to it, but guess who sits on the dragon? The harlot. Yeah. And America just keep trying to bring out that she's the guardian angel to bring about America being great again, and that's why they celebrating Independence Day, because of the Statue of Liberty. The independence is the liberty to be wicked in this world. So a lot of these movies that we go and see, it's a letdown for us, because we want to see what America's downfall actually is, but with all actuality, they always trying to bring a shining light to what America is going to be. But ultimately, they was being destroyed, and they had to flee to Mexico. But guess what? Terminator was a female theme too. The last Terminator, Dark Fate.
Yep.
And she didn't even hold through.
Sarah Connor.
All right? So y'all all gonna fall, man. America is done. And y'all keep showing it. It's like a prelude to what y'all really know is gonna happen, man. You know, that's it.
Hey, with that, you know, brother said they peace. You know, hey, brother, you know, hopefully that was edifying. Just want to do a quick movie review. Hope we ain't doing too many spoiler alerts for the brothers that do want to watch it. It is a decent movie. I wouldn't say it's because you do got those movies where you be mad that you went or you spent your money. I wouldn't say that it's worthless or it's not worth going to check out. Or if you even use a Fire Stick or the Amazon and just do an in-house thing, it is worth watching, especially if you're in the spirit. You can extract different things from it, especially from the times we living in. We're going to leave it like that. All praise to your Allah. Shalom.